All right, we're on day 2, block 2 notes. So we're going to continue looking at complementary and supplementary, but in this set of notes, we're looking at word problems. So we'll work through a bunch together, and then you'll have some practice to do on your own. So when we're looking at word problems involving complementary and supplementary, there'll always be, or not always, but usually there's kind of 3 phrases you'll see. So it might say an angle or the angle, anything like that. We always will represent that with an X. That's our unknown. If the angle is called X, that means its complement can be found by doing 90 minus X. So for example, like the angle is 30. The complement, I can find the complement by doing 90 minus 30. 60 degrees. The supplement is going to be 180 minus X. So in our same example, the supplement would then be 180 minus 30, which equals 150. Now in these word problems, we don't know the measure of X. It's usually what we're finding or part of it. So we use our variables to represent that calculation. Okay, so let's start with some examples. Example 1, very simple one. An angle is 5 times its complement. Find the angle. Now when I do these, I label everything in the word problem using the symbols up here, if I'm adding, subtracting, whatever. So an angle, that's X. When you see the word is, that is your equal sign. If you see is, you put the equal sign. It's 5 times its complement. Complement is 90 minus X. So you can see here I basically have my equation written. I'm going to write it out underneath. So X equals 5. Instead of the multiplication sign, I'm going to use parentheses because I need to multiply by the entire expression, 90 minus X. And then I can solve for X. X equals, distribute, 450 minus 5X. Add 5X to both sides. So now I have 6X equals 450. And then X equals 75 degrees after I divide. X equals means I found the angle, so I'm done. Example 2, again, I'm going to label everything in the word problem to set up my equation. So an angle, X, is equal 3 bigger than, so we're not multiplying here, but if it's 3 bigger, that's like 3 more. So I can write plus 3. Or 3 plus, I guess, then twice its supplement. So twice would be 2 times, supplement 180 minus X. Write out my equation, X equals, I'm going to write 3 plus 2 times 180 minus X. Solve for X. Distribute here. So now I have 3X equals 363, and I'll divide to get X equals 121 degrees. Okay. And then part B, same setup, find the complement of the angle's supplement. Okay, so the complement of the angle's supplement means I have to do the angle's supplement first. So I'm going to do this first. So 180 minus X, which is 180 minus 121. So the angle's supplement is 59 degrees. Now I want the complement of that. So this is second step. Complement would be 90 minus that 59 degrees, which equals 31 degrees. So here's my 2 answers. Example 3. Okay, so there's a lot more going on now. Start by labeling. I'm going to change colors. The supplement of an angle, so this is 180 minus X, is, so equals, 30 less than. When that's less than, sometimes we get confused. That has to go at the end. So like, let me give you an example. If I said 3 less than 10, in your head, you would do, 10 minus 3 equals 7. Right? 3 less than 10. The subtraction comes at the end. So that means I'm going to do 30 less than at the end. So I'll do minus 30 at the end of whatever else I write. It's less than 5 times the complement. So that's 90 minus x. So I'm just labeling, just to kind of map it out. Question says find 2/5 of the angle's complement. So I'm not even going to worry about that till we find x. So I'm going to start by writing out my equation. We said 180 minus x equals, remember this goes at the end. So I'll have 5 times 90 minus x minus 30. Okay, it's 30 less than, so subtraction at the end. And then I'm solving for x here. 180 minus x equals, again, distribute first. 450 minus 5x minus 30. Combine some like terms, so I have negative 5x plus 420, it's positive. Now I'm going to solve for x here. So I'll add x. There's a lot of different steps you could take here. Equals negative 4x plus 420. Subtract 420. I have negative 240 equals negative 4x. When I divide, those negatives cancel out, so x equals 60 degrees. Okay, so that's the angle, but now I need to find 2/5 of the angle's complement. So I'm going to first find the angle's complement, or I can just set up the equation actually. So 2/5 of, the word of is another way to say multiply. So 2/5 of the angle's complement, which we know is 90 minus x. But this time I know what x is, so I'm going to plug it in. 90 minus 60, 2/5 of 30, and that would equal 12. Okay. All right, so we're looking at example 4 here. So example 4, it says the supplement of an angle. So let's just start by writing 180 minus x is, so equals 60 less than, so we know that will come at the end, then twice the supplement of the complement. So there's a lot happening there, so I have 2 times something. When it says the supplement of the complement, the supplement is going to be 180 minus something, but it's not minus the angle this time, it's the supplement of the complement. So it'll be 180 minus 90 minus x. Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier. And then we're going to find the complement of the angle. So let's set up our equation, 180 minus x. Remember, the minus 60 comes at the end. So we have 2 times supplement of the complement minus 60. Now, follow your order of operations. So let's work inside these parentheses first. You can think of this like a negative 1 out here and distribute. So now it becomes minus 90, negative 1 times negative x plus x minus 60. Keep simplifying. 180 minus 90, 90 plus x minus 60. Now we'll distribute the 2. Okay, and then we're just solving for x, just like we've been doing. So I'm going to add x here. 180 equals, we'll add 180 and minus 60. So now I have 3x plus 120. Subtract 120. Leave me with 60 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X equals 20. Okay, always make sure you answer the question though. It says find the complement of the angle, so 20 is not really my final answer. The complement of the angle, is going to be 90 minus x, so 90 minus 20, which equals 70 degrees. So that's my actual final answer. All right. couple more here. So these last two are just a little bit different than the ones we've been looking at. Example 5, it says two supplementary angles are in the ratio of 5 to 4. So now we have this ratio idea. We're looking for the larger of the two angles. The ratio is kind of like a multiplier. So we can think of angle 1 as 5 times something, and angle 2 as 4 times something, right? It's our a multiplier. So when I set up my equation, if the angles are supplementary, that means 5x plus 4x equals 180. So 9x equals 180, therefore x equals 20. Now be careful, this is different than what we were doing. This x is not the angle. Okay? To find the angle, I plug this back in. Now the larger one is going to be the 5 times 20, 5 times x, because that's going to be more than 4 times something. So our larger angle is going to be 5 times 20, which equals 100 degrees. Okay. And then our very last problem, similar. Two complementary angles are in a ratio of 1 to 8. So same idea. We have 1x plus 8x. Since they're complementary, they're going to equal 90. 9x equals 90. X equals 10. Again, this is not the angle. I need to find both angles in this case. So angle 1 will be 1x, which is 1 times 10, which equals 10 degrees. Then angle 2, 8x, 8 times 10, 80 degrees. And like you can verify, 80 plus 10 is 90, so we know we did that right.